All right, this is going to be a quick and dirty one for the Equinox. My wife was like, Equinox reading? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So we're going to do the same sort of general format as normal, except for we're gonna just be thinking about the Equinox, right? Like what's in store for us in the spring of this year, 2025. So let's just start off with our Steampunk Tarot. And this time, normally I do like one card or whatever. If multiple cards come up, we're just gonna kind of throw them all out there, see what happens. I didn't even know. I have no idea. But that it tracks, change, transformation, new beginnings, all of this sort of stuff. Holy shit, it's so hard to do this. There's no, like, the space is all wrong for this. So you're welcome. One card came out. It's fucking Judgment. So Judgment is all about, it's the last card, I think, of the major, or no, the world is, right? Hearing and heeding a call. So my wife and I were just talking about this yesterday. We were talking about a kind of call that she has been kind of failing to heed for decades now. So, here we go. Starting off with Judgment. Dwelling in the ether betwixt heaven and earth, a dutiful angel, etc., etc. Gramophone player, song, heeding a call. So it's spring, it's change, it's time to fucking come out of your shell and stop hibernating, as my wife told me I was doing this morning. It's time to answer the clarion call of the Judgment card. It's time to shake off the cobwebs and get back out there and start doing what you need to be doing. You probably already know what that is. You probably can feel it in your bones. You probably have maybe been pushing it off for some time, or it's winter and it's dreary and you're just kind of trying to get through a challenging time. But it's spring, motherfucker, and now it's the challenging times are probably coming to a middle, but that doesn't mean that we should stop doing the things that we need to be doing. It doesn't mean that we should give up on our hopes and dreams and ambitions. And now is the time. I've been beating this drum in pretty much all my readings lately, is like, it's the time to do the thing. The thing that you have been putting off doing, it's the time to do the thing. That went off the table. That's a 3. So we're coming over here to Empyrean. We're starting off our spring equinox with Judgment, with this feeling that, like, there's a call, there's a mission, there's a purpose, there's something I'm supposed to be doing. And by supposed to, I mean, like, for us, right? Not like my boss told me I'm supposed to have these reports done by the end of the business day. Like, not that kind of supposed to. We're talking about cosmically, we're talking about existentially, we're talking about personally. Your own personal existential cosmos. What are you supposed to be doing with your time on this little blue rock, right? Like, and really stepping up to that, stepping up into that, putting aside sort of the expectations of the world around us, and answering, our personal call, marching to the beat of our drum, singing our song, et cetera, et cetera. Judgment here has the gramophone that is playing music, and each person hears their own music, right? And that's true in life. We all have our own calling. We all have our own purpose. We all have our own meaning. And whether that's because we do or because it's something that's being created, right? Like that we create for ourselves, it's still out there. I think there are a lot of people who live very fulfilled lives when they start to be their truest selves. They start to be their most sort of like fully realized selves, and answer their own personal call. So right now that's you. So even if we're in the darkest of places, vision can guide us out if we let it. It's no easy feat to hold on to something that feels abstract and so far out of reach, but the more we tend to our vision, the more it can become real. This card signals a potent space opening where you can create in your head, where what you create in your head can be planted and grown more easily. Whether you feel like this vision is your last lifeline left, or you're shooting for the next level, let the floodgates open. Live in this space as thoroughly as you can. Let it be woven into your cells without expectation about the outcome, simply being with what you're building. So pretty straightforward vision, right? If you have this calling, if you have this sort of thing that you're sort of being compelled to do, it's important to go into it with a clear vision, like develop that vision, see the future, right? Like this is in some ways the predecessor to manifestation, right? Your vision board is envisioning the things that you want to have, that you want to see change, that you want to have come to pass, all of that sort of stuff. So you've got this, the judgment card saying, now is the time, right? Now is the time to answer your call. And the vision card is saying, move into it with a clear sense of purpose, of vision, of what you want, of what you're looking for. Have a plan, right? So judgment is saying, answer it. And vision is saying, but don't do it recklessly. Don't do it haphazardly. Don't set yourself up to fail, right? Go into it with vision, with an idea, with a plan, with how you're going to sort of pull this off, whatever it is. It might be asking for a raise. It might be asking for a raise in your relationship and moving that to the next level. It could be, getting that new job that you're looking for. But whatever it is that you're looking to elevate in your life, go into it with intention, go into it with a clear idea. And if you're at this point where you're like, hey, I'm still stuck on judgment, I don't actually know what the fuck this is telling me to do. Okay, stop and really get this clear, right? Get clear an idea of what you are really looking for. A lot of times we have these sort of like clouded visions of what we want, of what we need, of what we're looking for in life, because it's swirled up in a bunch of other expectations, a bunch of other considerations that are outside of what we actually are meant to be doing for ourselves, what our heart is telling us to do, what our soul is telling us to do, whatever. So get that clear vision, get the details straight. Sometimes it's like we have this ambiguous idea, right? My wife is a phenomenal singer, and she's like, I think singing, right, is my calling. I just don't necessarily know how to do it. And it's like, okay, well, figure it out. This could be a time for you to be figuring that out, so that you're ready when the call comes, right? When you hear the call, you respond, right? If you haven't heard the call yet, or if there's too much noise in the signal, clear it up. Right. So that when it does come in the spring, you're ready to answer it. You're like, yes, this is it. And you don't miss it because you were unable to sort of parse out what exactly you were looking for. That's a 1. We're back to the Steampunk Tarot. Gave me 3. So let's have a look at these guys. 4 of Swords, 8 of Swords, and 3 of Cups inverted. I don't know what any of these fucking things are. All right. So what we're looking at is challenges, precarious situations. This feels like a warning. Okay. And the important thing to do is going to be to recognize the warning and slow down and really like sort of take measure of the situation that you're in, particularly when it comes to friends, loved ones, people in your life. 3 of Cups, when it's normal, is about the richness of camaraderie and friendship, right? And being able to lean on and rely on the people in your life. And this is saying, nope, be very, very careful. As you're answering sort of your clarion call, I think really what, when we're looking at these two things sort of together, right? Here's one part of it is you have this call that you need to heed, right? You have this calling that is yours and yours alone, and you need to have a clear vision and understanding of it. And at the same time, that's going to come with some challenges, particularly with people in your life. And the important thing to do is first stop and reflect on how you're going to deal with these challenges. Recognize what they are and recognize where they might be coming from. I'm seeing, if I'm looking at these two cards, I'm seeing risk. I'm seeing a lot of people in life who might be coming along saying, that's crazy. Don't do that. And this is saying, yeah, that's going to happen. This is maybe a little crazy. This is something that you need to stop and think about. And that comes into the vision, right? And I think this is saying like, you need to be particular and intentional about the way that you go about answering this call. And you need to be aware that there are going to be people in your life who are not going to understand it or not going to respect it, are not going to be on board, and might even actively sort of like go against you, not support you. And, you know, these are the sort of people who are like, oh man, like, did you hear that Rain started reading tarot? Yeah, he's really gone off the deep end, right? Like from my point of view, like this is not something that anyone would necessarily expect of me, that I'm even doing this. And so there are people who I'm presuming if they were to find out, maybe like religious family members or something like that would be like, oh, they, you know, Rain's out there fucking around with that devil shit or whatever, right? Like people who normally would be supportive, who normally would be helpful, maybe are not going to be as supportive or helpful as they were in the past for other endeavors that more like kind of closely aligned with them. And that can create challenges to sort of what we're trying to do. So what we need to do is we need to stop. We need to take stock of the challenges that are facing us, the precarious situation that we're in. And with the Eight of Swords, we need to recognize that there's going to be unexpected challenges, right? This is a big deal. We're moving into this new season, trying to do something truly radical, trying to do something truly novel for us. And that is going to come with a lot of unexpected risks, a lot of unexpected outcomes, and a lot of unexpected challenges from the people around us. And we just have to be prepared for that. And we have to slow it down. Take a deep breath. You have a clear vision, hopefully, right? You are coming into this understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're doing it. So it's okay to stop and take the lay of the land. One of the things that's really interesting about like sports is when you are learning a sport, right? You're learning the mechanics of a sport or of a game. You tend to be very focused on the details of mechanical execution, right? How am I throwing this ball? How am I kicking this ball? How am I doing this thing? Am I doing it with the right form? Am I doing it in the right way? And once you nail those pieces down, much larger considerations can be considered, right? If you're thinking about like American football, you know, if you don't have to worry about am I going to throw the ball well? That gives you an opportunity to advance what you're considering to, okay, what kind of coverage is on the field? Or, you know, should I audible? Is there a better alternative, right? You're elevating your game because you don't have to worry about the small details. You've been drilling those away, right? So when you have your clear vision, it gives you that opportunity to rest and reflect on these challenges and see stuff that otherwise you might not have seen if you were coming in without this vision. So let's get a last little look, and that's going to be steampunk again. It's going to be steampunk again. So we'll move those over to the side for now to give the rest of our cards a little bit of room to breathe, and then we'll put the whole spread out there for us to see. So yeah, you're going to have some challenges. You're going to have some precarious situations that are coming from places maybe you didn't expect, from friends or family members, people who are not going to necessarily understand it or get it. The nice thing is, like, you know, the proof is kind of in the pudding, right? When we are doing us. Sometimes we're going to identify that some people who were in our life don't really need to be there anymore, right? I think a lot of people sort of serve a purpose. A lot of relationships sort of serve a purpose. And then when that purpose is done, that relationship ends. And I don't necessarily mean romantic. Friendships. I've had a lot of friendships where it was like, you know, we were friends and then for a reason, and then that reason went away, and so did the friendship, because that was the predicating force. And our final card is going to be the World. This is the first time the World has come up for me. So this is really interesting. And it is the final card of the Major Arcana. If the World shows up in your reading, stand up and take a bow. Excellent job. You should be proud of yourself. As the final card in the Major Arcana, the World marks the end of a journey. There are plenty of cards in tarot that mark endings. All the Tens, Death, Tower, for example. All these endings have different flavors. The flavor of the World is a successful completion. It's not merely a situation playing itself out, as described by the Tens, or the natural or unexpected experiences of Death or the Tower. It's a finishing of something you started, that you wanted, and that you worked towards. The woman in this card, often referred to as the World Dancer, is the essence of ease and comfort, surrounded as she is by symbols of the elements, air, water, fire, and earth, as well as the large gear or world representing everything that is. She moves gracefully in this environment, confident that she has mastered everything she needed and wanted to. As with all endings, there is bittersweet flavor, but one cannot rest long on one's laurels. With this wonderful achievement, she's now ready to move on to the next cycle, and so are you. Congratulations, and bon voyage. The world, like the sun and the aces, indicates a yes if you're looking for one. It also suggests travel, particularly long distance, especially if the chariot or a knight is present, which is not true in this case. But so this is a pretty clear vision of sort of a path for us coming into this sort of new season of change and transformation. I mean, all seasons are seasons of change and transformation, but we've got our sort of start here, right? With our calling and our vision. We've got these sort of interstitial considerations, right? Things that we need to just sort of be aware of, that there are going to be some challenges. There are going to be unexpected risks. People are not necessarily going to be on board with this change that is coming into our lives, that we're creating in our lives. But this is a big one, right? It's the fucking world. Like, if we're able to execute, if we're able to answer our call, do it clearly, do it with a clear vision and understanding of what we're doing and why we're doing it. We take stock of the risks. We take stock of some of the potential challenges that are going to come our way. We don't panic. We don't freak out about change, right? We take a slow and measured and reasonable response to the challenges, both like sort of internal and external, that are going to come our way. And that's how we're going to find success. So that's my reading for the spring season, which is a pretty hopeful one, right? So it's time to get out there and put your nose to the grindstone, answer your call, pick up the telephone, answer the call, and you'll see success if you are able to follow the logic of these cards. So thanks, guys. We will see you again soon. Bye.